Hey y'all, I'm Kelli Hayes Smith, and this is the Social Takeoff Podcast. This is where travel advisors come for marketing advice that actually makes sense. Not trends, not noise, just real, clear thinking, strong perspective, and building a business that actually works for you. Let's get ready for takeoff. Hey y'all. Happy Tuesday, because when you listen to this, it will be Tuesday. I am coming to you from a very noisy house on the Monday before this airs tomorrow morning or midnight tonight, because it's been a hectic day. It's been a lot to get done, and I made a promise and a point to say I am showing up on Tuesdays with a podcast, and I am here. Even if there is a kid getting a bath, so probably going to be yelling, and then a husband going to read the kid books. The lighting is not good. Because it is definitely not. I'm sitting at my desk today instead of on the couch, kind of in the vibe that I wanted. My makeup's worn off, like all the things. And I am going to have to fight my inner demons to allow myself to put this on YouTube and Spotify video, because I am very self-conscious right now because it does look like so yellow and stuff, but you know what? We're going to do it anyway, because showing up imperfect is better than showing up perfect. And that's what I've been talking about. And so here we are. We're going to do it. I was real and raw on Instagram DMs last week about some anxiety that I've been having. And I've had anxiety for a long time. I've shared this battle with you all. And last week was a really rough week. We had a great weekend. And it was just really hard. And I appreciate you all allowing me to show up authentically and to show up in a way that allows me to be me. Because to be honest with y'all, I don't have the energy right now to pretend to be anybody else. But we are going to talk today. We're going to talk real and raw. And what is really funny is I organized these topics at the end of December when I was feeling in a very different way, and life is life, and there's cycles, and you go through things. And it's so funny because I am going to talk to myself on this podcast right now. When I pulled up my notes today and all the things that I had written down, I was like, oh crap, girl, you're going to call yourself out on this. So, let's go. I think that there's a of course, more eyes is more potential for leads, right? Like, we know that is not new information. If 1 million people see your post and it still performs at a 2%, conversion rate of some sort, 2% of 1 million is more than 2% of 200. So obviously, the numbers game, it's there. But if the content gets 1 million views and it's the right kind of content, then maybe, yes, it's working like we want it to. If the content gets 1 million views, but it didn't do anything, it didn't say anything, it wasn't helpful, it was just trending or lucky or something like that, we aren't going anywhere. Performance does not necessarily equal progress. You can get a great listen. I know there are a lot of ways to attract attention, if you will, online. And if I am focused more on the performance of the post and not the progress that it's making, I'm losing ground and I'm wasting time. The first question when you post content and you are analyzing it isn't how did this post do? It is, what's this post for? That mindset is a requirement to create marketing that matters anymore. Not every post pushes, if it doesn't convey or push or further a goal of some sort, It's not helpful. Trend hunting, right? Like, so just scrolling your reels and saying this is trending, this is hot. Even some really great social media influencers that I like will tell you what's trending right now. That's great if you use the trend in a way that makes sense for your business and expanding your business. But if you're simply looking for a trend to get more views, what's the point? Why am I wasting my time doing this? You have to ask yourself, what's my insight? Okay, actually, I'm going to give you 1, 2, 3, 4 questions to ask yourself. So especially, and this is going to trends, right? I told you all it was loud. Sorry, it is what it is. You can even see the little feet on the floor because it's completely dark outside. I am lit by lamps, all the things, because I really purposefully set a goal to show up every Tuesday, and I'm doing it even when it's hard. Anyway, sorry, back to it. Okay. So trend hunting doesn't equal progress, again, just because I might get a lot of views, right? And so people who are sharing what trends are hot, sometimes that's not going to be helpful. It's just going to be frustrating because you're like, I did the trend, I got all the views, where are the leads? And if you're just trend hunting, but you're not, I'm not telling you trends are bad. I'm not telling you views are bad. I'm telling you, if you're doing all of that without purpose, without goals. There was a car that just came flying down our road, and if it was my child pulling into speaking of my child, see, I've got a kid who is driving home right now, so I have to pause because I have to answer this. This is what happens at night when I'm doing this. But you're going to see that I paused to take that call because this is like legit real mom life. Okay, so I'm not telling you trends are bad. I'm not telling you that inherently views are bad. That's not true. What I'm telling you is, if you are doing a trend for the sake of views and not taking a trend and turning it into content that matters for your business, then it's useless, no matter how many views it gets. So we're going to talk about 4 questions that are really powerful questions that you can ask yourself when you're utilizing trends or anything that, feels like I'm doing this, like I got a bunch of views, or this looks like it would pop off, but here are the questions I want you to ask yourself. What's my insight? Not like, but what are you conveying that is a unique piece, right? Like that is nobody else thinks like this, or this is literally my opinion, or like hot take, or something to that effect. Where, like, about you, right? Where are you in this? Is your face in it? Again, is it your opinion? Is it your brand values? Is it part of your personality that you're sharing? Where are you in this? Did I talk about my service at all? Did I talk about the value I bring to the table? This could be on the screen, in the video, in the post, or in the caption, okay? And what goal was this meant to move? And if the goal is to bring in more followers, fine. But what goal is it? But you can't just be that. It also has to be, but I created this post about Royal Caribbean suites because I want to sell more dollar-wise in Royal Caribbean next year, this year, whatever. So it has to move a goal forward. Those 4 questions, I'm going to say them again. What was my insight? What did I share that was unique to me? Not facts, not Google, literal insight. Where am I in this? Is it my brand, my face, my personality, my voice? Where am I? Did I talk about my service at all? Again, on video, on the words on the screen, in the caption, I don't care. Are you talking about the value you bring to the table? And what goal is this meant to move? If you can answer those 4 questions while you are doing a trend, by all means, go for it. If you can't, move on. Okay? Just plain old trending audio and something everybody's doing that just looks cute, they can get that anywhere else. Keep moving. You don't need it. It's just that simple. If we get to the idea of why those views and those pieces feel so important. What happened? Sorry, my computer clicked and now all my notes are gone. Why is this doing this? I hate this. Nope. Hold on. There we are. Okay, cool. if we get to the root of why those views matter so much to us, the likes, the comments, the views, that is instant gratification. And we are an instant gratification culture, right? We want it to happen right now. I am an impatient person. If I am not someone who can go look at furniture. My husband will tell you, I can't go to look at furniture. I can't go to look at cars because I am an instant gratification. I'm not going to look at something for 6 months before I buy. I do not go until we know we are going to buy something because I will buy it when I shouldn't. Most people don't like to wait. And so when we get those likes and those comments and those views, it is right now. I am seeing a result right now, whether I am seeing a tangible result that's what I wanted or not, but something's making me feel better. It feels like they like me. It feels like this is working, even if it's not turning out to leads. But the real question is, do you want to be liked or do you want people to want to work with you? And let me say something on that. Y'all are getting like it's not late night. It is 7:50. I'm showing my phone screen right now. If, can you see it? It was on there, I swear. But so it's not like late night, but it is late night for this old mom. That is not an easy question to answer because you do want them to want to work with you. I have no doubt that that is going to be your answer. But to turn around and say, do I want them to like me or do I want them to want to work with me? The answer is probably both, because not everybody, but most of us want to be liked too. And that is a struggle for me. It is a struggle for me, and it is taking a long time, and it is still a work in progress to say, I want them to want to work with me, and not both, because they're not the same outcome. I can make people, there's that lyric, and this isn't even our lyric for the day of Taylor Swift, but there is that lyric in Mastermind that says, I've been scheming like a little kid. No one wanted to play with me as a little kid, so I've been scheming like a criminal ever since. Like, I want to make them love me. And I feel that, right? Like, what can I do to make people like me? I have to work hard on not doing that because I'm a people pleaser and I like to be liked, and words of affirmation are my love language. And so I have to separate the idea of being helpful and how can I show up for people who want to come and work with us and learn with us at Careers on Vacation and really bring strong insight to the industry and not just win a popularity contest. How can I separate those two? And again, it's really hard for me because I get upset when I think people don't like me. Even though I currently have to work on that hard, it's still there. So don't think that that is an easy off answer. Okay. Don't think that that is an easy, like, I should always feel that way. Know that most people struggle with that. I struggle with that, and let yourself off the hook if that is an answer that you come to. But they aren't the same outcome. Wanting to be liked is, you can be making people laugh, or you can be relating to people, or you can be treating them like your BFFs. But to make them want to work with you, you have to have a level of that, but you also have to have a level of highlighting your service. I don't want to say proving your worth, but showcasing your worth, showcasing the value that you bring to the table, making sure that they can see it. Because if they don't know you and they don't know what you do, they don't inherently know your value. I'm not trying to convince you that people need to know that you're worth something, but what I am saying is you have to show them what you do and why they would want to work with you. And so it has to be more than just, look at this really cool, funny, silly video that I created, and into, look at how I think, look at how I make decisions, look at how I help, look at how I do these things for you. And so I think that that's really important for us to differentiate and to acknowledge and say out loud, like, what am I working for people to like me, or am I working for people want to work with me? And you have to call it out. If you know that is a struggle that you have, like if you know you like to be liked, then you have to call that out and be cognizant of that so that you don't get caught in the trap of doing it for that instant gratification and that feel-good word of affirmation, and make sure that it is serving the greater goal that you have in your business. Same line on that though, I think the biggest lie that we tell ourselves is that followers equal growth, or that followers equals more business. And that is not true. Followers don't equal clients. People don't need to follow you to keep up with you. And there are a lot of people who will follow you that have zero intent of ever booking a vacation with you. And I have said this before, but you can have big, huge businesses that have very few followers, and vice versa. You can have huge followings and nobody spending any money. And that's because, number one, that's not how the algorithm is built anymore. Sure, we want them to follow along because, it's there, but we also want them to engage, because following and not engaging is not going to put us on their timeline. And we need to do both. And so you've got to be creating content, yes, that goes out and gets the new followers. And we're going to be talking about that, especially on my Instagram, about trial reels and how can we use trial reels and what can they be for. But you also need to create content that nurtures the followers that you have down your funnel. And so that's really important to have both of those things. And the other thing is, numbers and following don't tell you why people are there. And they could be there for free tips or your opinions, and that's just the truth. Or they could be there getting to know you. We know for a fact lurkers spend more money than people who are loudly engaging. That is a data proven fact. I don't have the statistic pulled up on this, but we've talked about this before. But here's the deal with that, right? They spend more money, but what we know to be true is they may follow and they may not. And so people who buy from you, who book with you, may not be on your followers, but they may be watching. They may be following without following. And so I think you have to be really careful. Numbers just don't tell the full picture when it comes to that. So the whole point of this is to really shift your mindset from wanting that instant gratification, that people-pleasing content, chasing the trends to get the numbers that make us feel good, into client content. And what I mean by client content is creating content that is really focused on creating clients and not just followers. Clients are community. Community is not built around facts. Community is built around relatability, relationships, sharing opinions, and sharing life, right? And when we have a community, usually we share life together. And in order to create client content, you have to share life. It can't just be, here's a set of facts that I'm telling you. You have to be able to show your insight, perspective, and opinions. It has to be things like they should think about, like, not these words. You're not going to use these words because this would be a real boring Instagram feed. But here's how I think about this. So when they read that post, it's like, oh, she thinks this, or this is what she looks for, or this is what he. I need you to know I'm calling out somebody. Hold on. I did get called out on my Instagram because I said she all the time. So Scott, this one's for you. This is how he guides his clients. This is how he makes decisions. This is how, and I appreciate being called out. Anytime something like that happens, please call me out because I want to be cognizant of what I'm doing. So I encourage that feedback. I love it. It really helps me. So see, and I'm thinking about it, and you all when I'm creating. Anyway, this is how they guide their clients. This is how this is the discernment that they have. Those things are important because that sets up an expertise. It's kind of like, what would such and such do? And what we want is to say, oh, I would just call them. I don't have to do what they would do. I can actually just call them. And we want to make sure that we're setting up that idea, but it also includes real stories, your stories, not just travel stories, but real life stories. Like, I was sitting at the traffic light the other day and it popped into my head, oh my gosh, there's actually people who go to Walt Disney World thinking that they could go to Walt Disney World and go to the Wizarding World, and it's at the same place, and it's not. And I didn't even think about that. Or maybe I was listening to a podcast and such said, what a horrible vacation that they had had because they ended up at Disney World thinking that Harry Potter and Star Wars were at the same park. And my heart was broken for them. And it just breaks me that this has happened. These kids were crying, and I was thinking, I could have helped you with this. And here are 3 things that I want you to go on your next, that I always want my clients prepared for on their vacation. Or here are the 3 questions I ask to help them shape their vacation in a way that there are no disappointments. Blah, blah, blah. We can't promise that, but you know what I'm saying. This idea that you're telling real stories, not just, maybe it's a time that you were really anxious when your clients were stuck in Puerto Rico when Venezuelan airspace shut down. They couldn't get home. And it's not just, it's like, I was up all night trying to find this for them because I care about what happens to my clients. Sharing those real stories, maybe even sharing the decision-making process, like talking to yourself via video, I think is always a really fun thing for people to watch. And sharing real recommendations based on real life scenarios and not just a one-size-fits-all. You have to remember that social proof, and we talk a lot about social proof, and testimonials are definitely social proof, but more than just testimonials, it's letting people see behind the curtain of how it works. And that social proof lives on a lot longer than somebody telling you what a great job you did on their cruise. They're planning their 5-night cruise, right? Showcasing the real decision-making process that you made because this family had a really weird need that you wanted to make sure that you met. And so I think that you have to really understand that client content is all about not just telling or not just talking at them, but talking with them. And I think that's kind of the part that we forget about. Here's just me word vomiting a bunch of facts on you when we need to be thinking of how can we talk with them? If this, then that. Is that how it goes? Is that right? If this, then that. I think that's right. So if this is you, then that maybe it looks like a decision tree. Maybe there's a lot of things that you can do there, but what's behind it? It's a lot easier. And I think I said this last week, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but it's a lot easier to default to views and facts than it is to showcase perspective, ideas, opinions, and content that's client content that's actually moving a business forward, because it protects you. When you are creating content that is protecting you, it's protecting you from people's judgment. It's protecting you from people who have a differing opinion, who feel like they're keyboard warriors and they want to talk all about it. It protects you from being wrong and making a mistake. It is validation driven, and I am a validation driven person. My husband will tell you. Tonight, literally, I made barbecue chicken and I made homemade. If you're watching my Instagram, you know I'm baking a lot. It is one of my New Year's resolutions is that I do something with my hands every day that is not on a device. So that could be my hands in cross stitching. It could be reading, flipping pages. It could be my hands in dough, but something every day. Anyway, I do have a point. I swear to God. So, I made homemade sub buns, not out of sourdough, just regular yeast bread. And I was really nervous because my husband doesn't like a bready bun. Obviously he's picky. And so it makes sense why I was nervous, but anyway, I don't need to be nervous. I don't mean it like that, but I want his validation. And he was like, no, they're fine. And I was like, fine, not good. He was like, no, they're good. Good, not great. And that whole back and forth thing, I want that validation. So I get it. I am a validation seeking person. I like somebody to say, you did a good job. I like words of affirmation are my love language. So I get having that validation, especially when you work really hard on content that you think is excellent and it goes out there and it's I haven't had reviews on this podcast in a year. People are listening. I know they tell me they're listening and they give me feedback on it there, but people aren't reviewing on it. So if the completely shameless plug, please review this. It helps it get seen. But like that validation, like I want that. I want to know that people are enjoying it. That's important to me. So I understand what it feels like when you work really hard on something and then there's just crickets. And I get that, but we can't stop because of that. And so we have to be able to separate ourselves from those two pieces. It makes you feel good, warm and fuzzy, when there's all of that. So it makes you feel good about your content when you're getting likes and views and comments. It doesn't make you feel confident in it if you know it's hollow. It's all likes and comments and views, but it's not, but you know good and well, it wasn't something that was like your heart in there, right? It's different when you put your heart in content. I had a carousel recently kind of, I don't want to say go viral, but it did performed really well, but I put my heart in that. And when it performed really well, I was thrilled because it wasn't just some random piece of content that I put out there. I worked hard on that. I thought about it. I put a lot of me and my brain power in it, and it performed really well. My heart was in it. When I get something that I throw together like that and it just pops off, it feels good, but I'm like, why? That's not my best work. And it just kind of feels hollow. So what I want you to do before you ask, what should I post? Let's say you know your goal, I'm going to go back to that Royal Caribbean, is to sell 30% more in Royal Caribbean in 2026. Instead of you saying, what should I post about Royal Caribbean? It's going to be, what do I believe about this? How do I guide clients? What's my decision-making process look like? What questions do I ask before recommending X, Y, and Z? Say your opinion. Now, I will tell you, I don't ever believe in disparaging any vendor, client type, anybody. Don't disparage, please, please, please. I want you to be laid back and not perfectly polished, but unprofessional is dogging businesses, and I don't want you to do that. So let's say it is three questions I ask, or 3 times I recommended Royal Caribbean and 1 time I didn't, right? So I'm sharing an opinion. I'm sharing why I didn't recommend Royal Caribbean for that person. So I'm not going light, but I'm not disparaging it because I'm giving both sides. Make sense? Or 3 resorts I would never recommend for X family. It's not that I would never recommend them. It's just for this particular family and why, right? So maybe it's a resort that's not on a swimmable beach and that family is like, no, we want to snorkel every day. Something to that effect. So say your opinion. Talk through your process. Maybe you are doing one of those clip videos. I posted one on my Instagram the other day. The first, like the cover of it is got a purple vinyl. It's the Midnight's vinyl. Anyway, of like me getting my office ready in the morning, right? Maybe you do a clip video like that of you walking through your thought process, and it's very quick thoughts. Like, no, this one won't work because of this. And no, this one won't work because of this. And oh yeah, I need to send them this one because of this, but I really think they would like this better because of this. And like that thought process, those types of things I have in my notes, not to give ideas yet, but here I am who I am. But talk through that process. Let people hear how you think. And when I say hear that, I mean that, not just see how you think. Let them hear how you think. Reiterate things that you're putting on a screen with your voice. So your words in a voiceover, right? Let them hear how you think on your stories in a live. Let them, maybe you're doing a live that once a week you're coming on there and you're talking through planning an itinerary while you're on your live. Like, how cool would that be? And let people ask questions about it. These things can change how you think about that content. We are really having to make a mindset shift. And I am one of those people. No more validation just from content. No more fear of not being liked and being afraid to put your real opinion out there because it's going to not piss somebody off, but like make somebody disappointed in you or whatever. You have the right people will be attracted to you by that. And that's really, really important. So shifting these thoughts into something completely different is going to change the game for you. So all that to say, views aren't bad. Okay? Views aren't bad. Engagement's not bad. Hollow views are bad. They're not bad. Hollow views are useless. They're a waste of your time. Hollow engagement is useless. It's a waste of your time. Your content has to show how you think, how you help, how you decide. Getting attention without traction is not going to help you move your business, and it's not going to help you fill a void that it's going to fill a void again that makes you feel good, but that you're not confident in. And I want you to be confident in the content that you're putting out there. That is my goal for you. Okay. At the end of every episode, we are doing a Taylor lyric and a song. I'm building the playlist for you all. Today, the Taylor lyric comes from Mirrorball, which is on Folklore, and it's, I can change everything about me to fit in, right? We are no longer going to change everything about ourselves to fit in. We are going to be ourselves and own that. That is also my goal for you, to be confident in who you are and how you show up. And I am so thankful to be part of all of your all's journey. And I look forward to seeing you all again back here. Thanks for your patience with me through this episode. And I'll talk to y'all real soon. Make sure that you head on over to Instagram. If you aren't already following, send me a DM. Let me know how you liked this. And please go review this. Like it would mean a lot to me if you would drop a quick review. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. It's night now, but y'all will hear this in the morning. Bye, guys. If this episode helped you think differently, that's the whole point. You can find more support inside Wonderlust Campus or come hang out with me on Instagram. Thanks for spending time with me. I'll see y'all next week.